Yes, I'm back. It's your boy LP Coach. I won't bore you with all the boring details. What a week of football. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into it. United, Chelsea drop points, or is it a point game for United? Where has Newcastle come from? Spurs drop points. Arsenal managed to still drop points, but go clear of Spurs. What is happening in the league? Man City getting a well-known victory. Come on, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and get involved. Yes, my people. Yes, yes, yes. And we are back as your boy LP Coach. We are back with a brand new show. What a weekend of football. Drama everywhere. We are back with the Premier League. Week game 11. Let's dive straight into it, man. Also, what a weekend it's been of football. What game should we start with? First of all, I guess we have to start off with that Liverpool defeat. Like, what the hell is going on with Liverpool? Liverpool back in the mud. 1-0 defeat. Nottingham Forest getting their first win of the season. What a win for Nottingham Forest that was. What a performance from the boys over there. Very, very disappointing for getting back to his old formation. Sorry, guys. Bit of delay there with the Wi-Fi. Oh, sort that. I can see that myself. Let's set back that one, people. Yes, yes. Cool. We seem to be back to normal. Yes, cool. We're back. Yes, what a win for Nottingham Forest. Back 1-0 defeat. First win of the season against Jurgen Klopp men. I think this is Liverpool's fourth or third defeat of the season already. The title has already gone. But what do you think of that performance, guys? Let us know what you think in the comments. I feel it was a dreadful performance for Liverpool again. They reverted back to their system that has worked so well for them over the course of Klopp's tenure, but it just hasn't seemed to be working this season. It is just not working. And the way that they played against Man City, there was a bit more reserved with their counter-attacking football, and that seemed to work, and they got the result. But it looks like Jurgen Klopp is being stubborn, and he's gone back to that same old Jurgen press, and he just needs to understand his players ain't good enough. He's got 30-year-olds trying to play like 23, 24-year-olds, and it's just not working for Klopp. Liverpool's recruitment over the summer has been very, very poor. They recruited Arthur from Juventus last minute to try and recruit and try and change that help that midfield after they lost the likes of Wijnaldum. They also tried to replace the left winger Mane. We all know how Mane has been very, very important to Liverpool and their way moving forward, and they have replaced him with Luis Diaz, who's been injured. And yes, Liverpool have lots and lots of injuries, but that does not give them an excuse for the recruitment. That does not give them an excuse for the way that they are performing on the pitch. And Liverpool are literally in the mud. What are they going to do to get out of it? Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about Liverpool and their performance. Because for me, I thought that during the game, it's with Liverpool, what you're seeming to get now, and I wouldn't compare it to like Manchester United's demise. I feel like because the difference is Liverpool are still playing all right football. You can still see what they're trying to do, but it's just not working. Darwin Núñez, £100 million player, having stop start change to the season. He's coming. He hasn't really hit the ground running. No one really knows what he's going to do. Didn't play against Nottingham Forest, funny enough, but it just goes to show that Liverpool are struggling. And some say, you know what, we might have to blame the manager instead, because it does look like Klopp is being stubborn. It does look like Klopp is not understanding when players need to be dropped. He's not understanding what works and what doesn't work. And at the end of the day, I see a lot of Liverpool fans talking about how they will never want to get rid of their one of their greatest managers in their history after Bill Shankly. But for me, it is time. It is time to ask that question. I don't think it's time for Klopp to be booted out or anything like that. But I do think it's time for Liverpool fans to put that pressure on him to make him understand that this is not good enough. I understand what you're trying to do, but sometimes you need to adapt. You need to change. I see a lot of people talking about Pep Guardiola and the way that he plays football. But you can see with Pep has changed from his tiki-taka and he's evolved it. He's changed it. He's gone from a false nine. He's now added Haaland into it. And yes, Man City still play there might be their principles, but it's not solely based on that because the game is evolved. Teams have found that out. Teams have found ways to deal with that. So Man City has been able to evolve, but it looks like obviously Manchester City and their financial Pep Guardiola may be on a different standing, but it just looks that they have surpassed Klopp and his Red Army. And Klopp did say something like this earlier on last season, towards the end of last season. He says we can't compete. Even this time in this season, he said 3 clubs can do what they want. They can buy whatever players they want, and we have to compete with what they want to do. Let me tell you something. Let me get you guys in on the secret. Jurgen Klopp is lying. He's lying to you guys, and this is what you Liverpool fans need to understand. Your owners are worth 110 billion pounds. Yes, they are. They're worth 10 billion pounds. Yes, your owners are worth 10 billion pounds, and Klopp does not want to mention that to you guys. The Liverpool owners don't want to mention you guys. The FFG army, they don't want to let you guys know that they actually do have money in the bank. And people will criticize Glazers and what they've done for Manchester United, and they haven't put money into the club. And too right and all, because they have brought Manchester United down to the ground. But what has happened with Klopp is the same that happened with Fergie. He is papering underneath the cracks, and now the cracks are starting to get bigger and bigger, and they are creating a big hole at Liverpool Football Club. And I've heard all sorts of excuses, down to Mane leaving, down to Salah's form, Salah getting a new contract, down to Liverpool not even having a head doctor. Like, who gives a crap? We can see that there's a big issue at that football club, and Jurgen Klopp is the captain of that ship, and the FSG are the ones that employed him to be the captain of that ship. So what are Liverpool going to do to change this form, guys? What are they going to increase? And big up Nottingham Forest on the first win of the season. I had high hopes on Nottingham Forest, and I thought they could do really well this season. They didn't start off as well. They didn't start off as good. Their first win of the season, they bought 21 players, I think that it was, and I think a lot of people was complaining about the Steve Cooper. Did he want these players in? Was it the owners that got them in? Did they get the right players in? And all that sorts of conundrum. And then I think it was about a month ago, Steve Cooper has just signed a new contract with Nottingham Forest. So it shows that the owners do have faith in him, even though he didn't even win a game in the Premier League when they offered him that contract. So that was a big boost to the manager. And that is maybe why you are seeing this performance, and you are seeing one of the shocks of the season when it comes to results. And some may say it might not be a big of a shock because of how Liverpool is performing, but for me, that is a big scoop for Nottingham Forest to kick start their season. Let us know what you think about that. Let us know how you think how Liverpool are going to move forward. What can they do to bring back their season? What can they do to revive what has been such a terrible season in regards to Liverpool this season? Yes, they go in the Champions League and they look like that they might be able to get out of that group, but this might be their only way of getting back into the Champions League season, because by the looks of it, it does not look like Liverpool will be entering in the Champions League. So let's move on, guys. Next game of the day, Everton with a big result against Crystal Palace. Some of these games are just going to thrash you in. The bigger games are going to have a much more conversation in it. But Everton, really good result. They've been performing really well under Lampard. And I think what Lampard's liking is the fact that he's going under the radar. He's built a solid foundation. Oh, yes, we've got a guy, Sam Soprino, on here. How you doing, my boy, Sam? Let's get him up on here. Yes, Sam. Yes, Sam.
Yes, I'm in.
My guy, just quickly freaking through. I gave a quick chat about Liverpool just moving on to Chris, because like I said, go through some of the games like quite fast, but the most important ones will have a more in-depth conversation in regards to that. But I was just talking about the Liverpool game. Give us your thoughts on that just before I move on to the Everton game.
Liverpool surprised me. Poor result, poor performance. There's a lot missing in Liverpool's team at the moment. I won't say that defensively they've done anything too bad except for the goal. However, the midfield was overpowered. I don't think Klopp should go in with that midfield three with Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott and
Yeah, there's been a
provide.
lot of debate about that in regards to Fabinho's form of the season. I think Curtis Jones played in that defensive midfield for all, didn't he, against Nottingham Forest, and some say he done quite well. There's a bit of debate whether him, or things should start in that role moving forward. But yeah,
Well, if you look at last week's result against Man City, look who he went for
yeah,
Ben compared to the team which he went to against Forest, and that's two different results.
mm.
One with
Yeah,
the best team in the league, which most would say, and you against what the results are showing right now, bottom of the table, Nottingham Forest.
and
So
that's what I was just speaking about in regards to that. But it's funny that you speak about the Man City game, because I was saying, don't you think that against Man City and against Nottingham Forest, he plays two different systems? So the system that he played against Man City was completely different to the Jurgen Klopp and their way. There was a bit reserved back, played on the counter and got that goal in the end for a very good counter attack. And then, as you saw against Nottingham Forest, he's reverted to that same system. Like I said, that's worked so well for Liverpool over his tenure and his years, but this season it just hasn't seemed to work. And some may be saying that the players are maybe not fit enough, and because of their age and whatnot. But as you can see, he tries to go back to what he's done, and it doesn't seem to be working. So, do you think that the Klopp pressure should be on Klopp? Do you think questions should be asked? Not in terms of him getting out, but we do tend to see from a lot of Liverpool fans that they don't tend to question their manager and their tactics. So, what do you feel in that regards, moving forward? And we just quickly wrap up and move forward, move through to the next game.
well, if he hasn't got the personnel,
Yeah.
that's an issue. When you have a lot of players out, that's an issue. When you don't get the signings that you want, that's an issue. When every team around you is like basically progressing, that's also an issue. So he's got a far, even though it's the same players, he's got far less quality this season compared to last.
Yeah.
Even though they've added, and yeah, you've lost Mane, but I feel like you lost a lot. You lost Menamino. He could have came in, filled in. You've lost Origi. He could have came in, filled in. And that could have brought something else, like to certain games. Like I'll just, for example, the Arsenal game. It's at 2-2. Maybe bring on an Origi. That might be your game winner. Origi's got a good result over Everton. That could be your game winner in the Everton match, and that was 0-0. But for some strange reason, Liverpool this season without fans, they can't do it, and I can't blame Klopp for his tactics. I'll just say that it's just Liverpool and the players. I'll blame the players before blaming Klopp.
Blame the players. Yeah, that's very interesting. Like I was even saying earlier on the stream, because there's been a big debate in regards to Liverpool and their recruitment and how much money they can spend. And I was just saying, it's an interesting fact that a lot of maybe people don't know in the footballing world that Liverpool's owners are actually worth £10 billion. And it's talk when Jurgen Klopp came out, I think it was towards the end of last season, talking about we can't compete, and also his comments this season in regards to there's 3 teams in it that can do whatever they want. I think he's kind of deflecting away from how the club is being run, in terms of we see how the Glazers treat Man United and sucking the money out of the club and not necessarily investing. And with you've got 10 billion owners, pound owners like Liverpool do, £1 billion, they should have enough money to recruit in the thing. So that's maybe an issue that, like what I'm saying, maybe the Liverpool fans need to dive deeper into what's actually happening in their club and have more of an uproar. But that's an interesting one. Maybe a topic we'll come and speak about later. But we move on to the Everton game. Good little Richie. And I was just speaking about that game before you jumped on. But I was saying Frank Lampard doing really well. And I think what Frank Lampard might like is the fact that he's going underneath the radar. He's built a solid team and he's getting good performances. And I spoke about this in the group chat. Like what I said, for me as a fan, someone that looks at my club, and even as a coach in general, when you get good performance, you generally know that that's going to lead to a good result. So when you're seeing consistency in good performances, then that's what makes you pleased as a manager, as a fan, because you know your club's going somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Frank Lampard has changed a lot of players, And the signings which he put into the squad really helped. Like having Tarkovsky and Cody as rocks at the back, it's allowed their team to.
Partnership, yeah. I think they've got conceded one of the least amount of goals in the league.
Yeah, I think they're close to Newcastle, but Newcastle conceded the least. I think they might be close to Liverpool, but not Liverpool. Sorry, close to Newcastle. However, I just don't know if they've got the quality to beat the stronger teams. I just don't know.
Yeah,
So
I think you see against Man United, they kind of don't want to say
yeah,
struggle, they play decent, but I do think that, like you said, the quality probably will.
yeah, that's where they lack quality. So I don't know where they'll finish. They should aim for top 10. I think Europa League is out of the window for them. So is Conference League. That's out the window for them. And he should just aim for a top 10 finish. Don't put too much pressure on it. Between 10 and 13 and getting more players. They need a striker. I won't put all the chips on Calvert-Lewin. I just feel like his injury record. I know
He did come back. He scored another goal. He scored a good goal over the weekend.
He scored a goal, but is he consistent enough?
Yeah,
We've only really seen him one good season. For some strange reason, he always gets an England call up. But does he live up to what everyone thinks he is?
Yeah, no, for me, I think that time has gone in regards to Calvert-Lewin and England moving forward. But yeah, man, I think this time's moving forward when you got the likes of Ivory Tonin coming through. There's a few more strikers that are not really popping up to my head, but I think in regards to Harry Kane in his form and Gareth Southgate at the moment, but who knows when whoever the new manager coming in regards to that. But it's a good start for Lampard. You never know.
Is it 10 in 11 or 10 in 12? I think they played one extra.
Yeah, everyone. That's a quiet thing that everyone's talking about. We'll speak about Harry Kane's performance later on in the show. Quickly, so in regards to that, before we can move on to the Man City game, what's your thoughts on Vieira? Sorry, Crystal Palace. I know you're Arsenal fan. This is one of your legends at the club doing well. Crystal Palace. I feel like he put his doubters to rest in regards to last season in terms of people saying that how he's going to perform in the league and what he's going to do. I think he's brought some really good players. He's got Crystal Palace in a good way, but if I'm not correctly, I think they finished on the bottom half of the season last season. I think there was 2-3 places above the relegation zone, and I don't think they're having the best of starts this season. They've got really good players. Do you think Guerrero is in danger if he don't start getting some points on the ball soon?
Okay. In regards to, I'll isolate the Everton match. However, Crystal Palace, this is what goes under the radar. Crystal Palace, have played Arsenal, played Manchester City, played Liverpool, played Chelsea, and they had a postponed game against Man United, so they were meant to actually play Man United. So that's 4 games there. I didn't expect them to get a result in. They actually got a draw against Liverpool, so I praise them on that. However, it has been inconsistent this season, and I've noticed that trend, and it has been heavily reliant on Zaha, even though it doesn't look it. But when you actually work out the numbers, who's actually scoring for them, who's digging them out of a hole, it's always Zaha. And I just want to see
5 goals this season, same as Jesus.
Yeah, and Zaha's playing well. Jesus is on a goal drought. Now that's the 2 different things. They're on the same amount of goals, but we look at it differently. Like Zaha's having a good position. Pardon? Yeah. Zaha's having a good season. Jesus is on a goal drought right now. So I just see it as.
Do you think Vieira's in danger, or do you think he'll be all right?
With their inconsistency, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I just feel like Crystal Palace this season has been inconsistent. However, we're close to January. Crystal Palace are a team which can spend money. I'm not saying they can spend like 70 million on a player, but they can have a budget of 30.
Well, they
40
have bought some players. Some say some of it worked out in regards to Edu, but they bought well with Eze, they bought well with Elise. They've done well in certain areas in regards to
I'll say
Ribeiro.
a hot take. This is a hot take, yeah. I don't think Gehi's that great. Like,
I
I
think
think he's still got a lot to learn.
yeah, he's got a lot to learn. But
Right
you know
now,
what?
I don't feel like he's an automatic starter
For
for
who,
Palace.
Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I don't think he's.
Oh no, I think he's one of their best players. I think, like you said, he's got a lot to learn.
I feel like
I
he's
think Crystal
clumsy,
Palace is the best stuff for
and he
him to
makes a
learn
lot
at.
of he makes a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but and I think that's the reason why I say I think that's the perfect club for him, because I think at the likes of Crystal Palace, you can afford to make the mistakes and it won't get noticed as much because of the quality of your team. But I feel like if he was to start in the likes of a Chelsea team or a top six team and he made them same mistakes as you're growing as a young player, it will probably hinder his development. So I think he will learn more from the mistakes considering he's at Crystal Palace just because the environment and the nature of the quality where he's at.
To be fair, I will say this one thing. I don't worry for Crystal Palace this season. I worry for Crystal Palace next season.
Yeah, because they could
As
not
we all know, Zaha's contract's running out. I don't believe he's staying. So
yeah, once he goes, I can see a lot of people following the trend as well.
yeah,
We move on. Man City, they steam normal result for them, 3-1 win. Not really much to talk about. Haaland with another goal. City do what they're doing. City gonna win the league or Arsenal gonna pick them to it?
right now, you'll put the money on City. And look, I'm not betting. I'm not advising anyone to bet, but I'm just figure of speech. I'm saying right now, City are the favourites to win the league, and they're doing what they need to do. They're not sprinting to the title this season. Like they're taking their time. They've had a few blips, a few draws which we didn't see coming. Like I do feel like Villa, if they did get that VAR right, that could have been another loss.
Story. Yeah.
So it's like we can see that Man City is beatable, but it depends how teams are set up. Are you set up to make it comfortable for them, or are you set up to make it uncomfortable for them? And it just depends on City on their day. But they are beatable. Title race is not just between them. I'll say title race is a few more teams. So anything can happen. You got to remember they're a point away. I think 1 point away from Spurs. No, 3 points away from Spurs. But you know what? I don't even know how many points because Spurs lost. I keep calculating it like Spurs drew.
City are 3 points away from Spurs,
Yeah.
2 points behind Arsenal, with a game in hand on Spurs. Spurs has played 12.
And I'm not sure. They're not that far from Newcastle and the Chase.
Yeah, Newcastle
That
4 points behind.
You see that Chase impact. Now, that is where it's interesting. As much as City are looking to get to the number one spot. However, if they lose a couple matches, draw here and there, and go into bad form,
it could start getting a bit creaky.
That Chase impact is very consistent. That's a consistent Chase impact. I'm not talking about throughout the whole season, but the last couple of days, Chelsea, Man United, and Newcastle have been very solid, and I can see real progression in them teams. So City need to watch out for them.
No, City doing well, doing what they do. Big game on Saturday night. Chelsea versus Manchester United. 1-1 draw. We got the goal for a penalty decision given away by McTominay. Jorginho sloshes it away. Big debate about the penalty. In my opinion, it was a penalty. And then we got the last gasp header from your boy Casemiro for Manchester United. What do you think? I'll tell you what you think of the game.
I think it was a fair result because I don't think there was clear-cut chances. There was one save which I'd say, yeah, Kepa had to make an astounding save. Other than that, it was mainly just keep the ball possession for Chelsea and just keep the passes flowing. For United, it was try get at Chelsea. It didn't really work in the first half because it wasn't clear cut chances. Man United dominated in the first half. I'll say the first
We
half.
had them up, man. Come on, man. I'm not gonna lie
No,
to say
no, 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 no.
done them. Come on, bro.
There was a difference between the first half and the second half.
Yeah, there
Man
was. There
United
was.
dominated the first half. I'll admit that it should have been 3-4-0, but it wasn't. It
You
was
know what I was
still
gonna say though,
0-0.
but you know, is I think yeah, you see with Man United, like for me, I have it like I actually differently based on what I was saying before in regards to consistent performance. The reason why I'm really I'm happy about the result at the same time as disappointed in the fact that we should have won based on how we played and the game turned out. But in essence, I'm happy because in these type of games, you always know how it is in regards to big teams. You can go to these games and it could be sometimes anyone could win. Yeah, it's 50-50, even though some team
But
might.
I don't feel like that is the case with Man United.
No, but I'm just saying in general, in terms of when big teams play each other, there's always a consensus that there might be a shock, even if there's another team that's waiting for them, just in regards to where it is. But what
Can
I'm
I
saying, what's that?
can I say two facts about this same fixture?
Yeah,
The same fixture is the most drawn match ever in history,
yeah,
in Premier League history. Man United versus
yeah,
Chelsea is the most drawn match in Premier League history.
yeah. I see that.
And the last 5 times now, last 5 games, Man United and Chelsea have played each other in the league. It's been a draw. Like, there must be some sort of edge. I don't know what goes on. It's like you used to try cancel each other out. The last time someone won in between you, I think you lot beat them 4-0.
Yeah, I think I was in a cup game.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about in the league.
Oh, in the league, yeah, that was was it the
Yeah, I
first
think that was
game
the
of the
Ollie
season?
and Lampard era.
Dan
The
James,
Ollie and
scored that
Lampard
day.
era.
Yeah. I'm sure it was the first or second game of the season.
Yeah, that was the last win. And that was the Ollie and Lampard era, and both managers of both
At the
not
start.
at both clubs.
Yeah, that's mad. I was gonna say, like, for me, it's just in regards to the consistency and performance. That's what made me really happy about the result. The fight back, obviously, the penalty that was a penalty, quite stupid. But I feel like all in all, it's probably a fair result in the fact that I won't say it's a fair result in regards to the two performances. I think it was a fair result in terms of Manchester United need to finish their food. They don't finish their food, and that's what happens. It's a lesson learned, but it's a good lesson.
It was a good matchup, bro,
Yeah.
because both teams were in form. So it was a good matchup.
It was a good matchup and it was a good test for Man United, and they stood firm. We've played all the everyone in the top 6 or say top 5, including ourselves.
Won 3, drawn 1, and lost 1. You've done
One
well.
drawn one and lost one, so done pretty well to come out of that. And one of them being an away game against Chelsea, so that's always good to revert back to that. Yes, we got go to all of their grounds, but we do have pretty away decent records against most of them. So for me, I think it's a really good start for Me United. You can see what Ten Hag's starting to build. He's setting his stance in regards to Ronaldo. I've already spoke about this in a group chat many times. I think he needs to go. You can see the way we play is completely different to how we played him when he starts. And I think just we're in a new era of football. Like Ronaldo, I'm not disputing his quality and his ability, but he needs to go, like, even if it's to go somewhere like not back Serie A, but Ligue 1 or the Portuguese league, perfect for Ronaldo. He'll get tons of goals. He'll continue.
But where's he gonna go?
Who knows? Like
back to Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, he could go back to Sporting Lisbon. I don't know if there's a situation where there's rumors that Messi might go back to Barcelona. If Messi goes back to Barcelona, maybe he can go PSG, slot in there. It might rumors Mbappe or Neymar might go. So who knows? They might lose 2 of their main stars, and I think they might like Ronaldo slot in there for a year too. They maybe
at 39 and 38.
Yeah, well, you never know. Money speaks a lot, and obviously Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo will still have something to say in a club like League. There's a title that he hasn't won at. It's literally a guaranteed title, so it's going to generate some form of money for them.
Being honest,
so I thought that it would be.
I'm being honest with you. If I'm being so honest with you, if Ronaldo can't get in that Manchester United squad, then he shouldn't be looking at PSG move and all these.
Yeah, but he's playing in the Premier League, which is quite harder. But I thought that
no. This Man United squad right now, he can get into it.
Mm.
Now, if your manager doesn't want you in that same squad, I don't know where he can go.
Yeah, I feel that we'll see. Like he's got the World Cup coming up, and maybe that's going
He
to be a window
he
for him
has to
to.
look to drop a level. Sporting Lisbon's a good shout, but
But
then you
if
got to
he's to
drop
prove
points.
that he's still the level that he feels is, and other people may feel he is, then the World Cup's going to be a chance for him to prove it, and we'll see what he does over there. But for me, I feel like it's time
Oh,
to United.
here's
And
a perfect one for you. Here's a perfect one for you, yeah, because it's a Manchester United scenario as well, and it's got linked to the World Cup.
Hmm.
Okay, if Lindelof replaces Varane to partner Martinez, and I'm hearing that Harry Maguire's recovered or is close to recovery, should he start at the World Cup?
Who?
Or do you think he will start at the World Cup? Not should he. No, Maguire, yeah, Maguire.
Oh, Maguire. Should Maguire start for England?
Yeah.
No
If
way.
if Man United go for
No way.
Lindelof over
No way.
Maguire,
No way. They
do
should
you
call.
think Southgate's gonna pick him?
Yeah, of course.
But how is that gonna make sense if you're Man United's fourth choice? No fourth choice defender, yeah, should
Because
be
he's the
starting.
first choice for England. That just shows how
But
how
yeah,
rubbish
yeah, but
England.
how does that
England's.
make sense?
We'll have a debate about that. That's an interesting.
How does that make
Let's
sense?
move on to your boys. Arsenal
Oh,
Sunday
terrible.
game. One. I know you had a lot to say about this.
Oh, yeah,
A 1-1 draw against Southampton. It's a bit of a funky one. Arsenal started off.
That's
started
another one.
straight.
That's another one. Exactly like Man United. First half, you're playing great, excellent. Second half, it drops off. And I would explain one thing about Arteta, yeah, which he needs to sometimes switch as well. I feel like this Arsenal squad is becoming predictable because you're playing the same team every single week. Make adjustments moving forward. Not every week we need Partey for 90 minutes. We don't need them close to that.
That's gonna be the big problem for you, know, though. That's what
Okay.
I. This is what I said.
Sometimes I actually want him
Do you
to
think got the
actually
quality?
put in
Vieira started the
Lokonga.
game. What was your thoughts on Vieira? Vieira is supposed to be that guy. He played yesterday. He played dog.
But you can't expect Vieira to come on in the.
But this is basically what you're saying, though. This is what you
No,
just
that's
said.
not.
That's
No,
what
no,
he's
no, no,
going
no.
to do.
I want players to start matches, not to come on as subs and play 15 minutes and say, "Yeah, change the game." Like you can't expect a player to do that when he's just still new to the club. I want players to start games. Sometimes don't be predictable. Change formation. Sometimes change personnel. Like not every game we need. Uh, for example, let's try putting two at the top. Let's try if Jesus and Nketiah can work together
Hmm.
in the league. That's
Yeah,
something.
Ketty, I just found out he says on 100 grand a week, 100K
Yeah.
a week. Like for a second striker at Arsenal, 100K. Has he even like? I think he's got one goal this season.
Wait. You're saying second striker at Arsenal, 100K a week. What was Cavani on? What was Martial on? And what was Ronaldo on all last season? So that's three strikers at Man United. So that's what I'm trying to say.
But
That's the
are
going
they all
rate.
better than Nketiah?
Yeah, but
Have
that's
they
the
all
going rate.
have they all got more trophies than Nketiah?
Yeah, but that's the going rate for a striker.
That's it then. That's what happens when you're the quality of your thing. But back to your club and their result. Do you think it is with regards to it's a bit of a twist and turn because in regards to Arsenal because you drop points, but you still managed to push clear in regards to your North London rivals. I think you got chopped
We
down
dropped points, but
to City.
okay, we dropped points from City, but we gained points from Spurs. I would rather just won in general. I would rather have won, and I won't have minded if Spurs. We'll talk about Spurs come.
And yeah, we'll put it here live on the stream because you're one of them Arsenal fans that think your club's gonna win the title, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. No. I don't think we're gonna win the title. want us to win a title. That's two different things.
Different tone, yeah. You have to make it clear.
I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, wholeheartedly we'll win in the league. Like I'm not deluded, but I'm gonna support the club, and I want us to achieve the highest goal. I'm not gonna be here dreaming small and saying, oh yeah, top 6 finish, or it's not dreaming small. This one, it's a big dream, but I'm not gonna say top 4.
Is it a start of rocky road for Arsenal?
I think at the start of the season, top 4 was what everyone wanted. We all wanted top 4. We said, yeah, we've got a good chance this season. We can get top 4. We saw the teams which are in it. We said, yeah, we can do something with this. However, now we're here. I feel like we need to at least put pressure on City. We all know that they're beatable now. We've seen Liverpool beat them. We've seen them have draws in the Champions League against Copenhagen. We've seen them draw against Newcastle, and Newcastle nearly won. We saw Villa nearly beat them. So these are teams which have nearly beat them as well. And Crystal Palace, first half when Palace played them,
really good,
2-0 up. So if Palace just didn't fall apart,
they could have been.
Who knows what that result would have been?
So do you think Arsenal going to bounce back, or do you think it might be a shaky few couple of games?
Who? Arsenal?
Yeah, you got Forest, Wolves. And...
Oh no, what bouncing back? We're angry, man. Do you know what it is? Every single time Arsenal take this, it's only happened twice this season so far. Like it's not a loss, it's a draw, but we lost against Man United. From that result, it kind of woke us up, because we was kind of being sloppy before then and being a bit careless, and then that Man United loss woke us back up. Next game was in Europe. We won convincingly, and then I think we played Brentford and then beat Brentford 3-0. I think that was a bounce back game. So I was happy with that result, and that was away. And then we went on a little run, and then it's just been cut short. That same run from the Man United game has been cut short. We're still unbeaten from it, but a draw. And I feel like we're going to bounce back again. And we're playing PSV. We're playing on the weekend Forest. And then we go over to Chelsea. Hopefully, Saliba.
Yeah, that might be a tricky one. That might be a tricky one they're going to think. But
me personally, we're going to the bridge.
It could be a 50-50.
Last few years, the record has been we beat Chelsea at the bridge the last few years straight, and they ain't beat us in the bridge for 4 years. So I'm pretty confident about that Chelsea game.
That one there will be a very, very interesting game in regards to the dynamics of the league. What's going on with your neighbours, man? They got smoked again, 2-1 against Newcastle. Your boy Amaron making Grealish look like a clown after his comments when Man City won the league in regards to his performances in the league. People that don't know, since that comment, Grealish has 1 goal. Amaron has 6 Premier League goals. Well done to you, Amaron. What's going on with you?
Grealish needs to come and step on the pitch. Find that man. Find him.
He needs to go and apologize, man. He needs to go and apologize. Your boy Amaron.
Public apology. How do you think?
What's your thoughts on Newcastle? And do you think they're going to get top 4? Do you think they're in the first shout?
Look. From the beginning of the season, I put in a group chat. Watch out for Newcastle. Top 4, top 6. Like, be careful, because they're coming.
They're at it for real.
A lot of people thought I was overrating them and whatnot. I kind of thought it for a sec. I said, am I really overrating them? But then I looked at their squad and I said, okay, St. Maximin gives you a chance. Almiron is now a player which can give you a chance. Joe Linton and Bruno are just monsters in midfield. And you got Willock as well.
From striker to midfield.
Willock's a different player. I don't even recognize him no more. He's just a different player. And then coming off the bench, you got people with heart like Shelby.
You forget that he plays for Arsenal sometimes, isn't it? Or Willock?
No.
Obviously, you won't because you're Arsenal man. But it's just for me. Sometimes I forget. I remember when he first popped on the scene. I think his first goal was against. I think it's Sunderland or Southampton in the League Cup game.
Ah, you know
I
what?
remember
Yeah,
they played really well. But yeah, but sorry, go on, carry on.
yeah. So I feel like, and they got the best defense in terms of goals conceded in the league. Bear in mind,
Liverpool.
they conceded three against Newcastle, against City, and still have the best defensive record of the league. So I just salute to Newcastle. I salute to Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's on a mission. I like the way they've done it. They've done it so natural. And do you know what's so scary about Newcastle?
Mm.
We're talking about them in top four now, and they haven't even pressed the trigger to spend all the money which they
I
can
know it's
spend.
crazy, and this is why I like about Eddie Howe. He's done it completely different
Yeah.
because the formula of spending money and success. Some might say it doesn't always was at work, but Manchester City seem to find a way of doing it. I think that a lot of clubs have maybe tried to do it, and have failed in regards to Villa, in regards to playing other teams. But I thought Eddie Howe has got the right approach. He's brought what he needs instead of what he wanted.
But
I thought that he's doing really well in regards to Newcastle moving forward. We'll try and put these two. No, but right, no. Before we move that into that quickly, just a quick word about Conte and Spurs. Do you think Spurs are in trouble? Do you think they're gonna get top four? And what's your thoughts on that, real quick, before we jump
no, I don't think they're
in?
getting top four. I just feel like right now is a purple patch. They will challenge, but I don't think they'll get top four. I don't. I don't.
Yeah, I think that. I think
Conte is a good manager, by the way. He's a good manager, but like this is the thing. Yeah, everyone was gassed and jumped on this Spurs high horse early. They said, "Oh yeah, Spurs." Da da da. I think it was ever since Arsenal like basically allowed them to have the Champions League spot because Arsenal just crumbled. And
yeah,
like way before Arsenal even played Spurs, they should have sealed it with the Crystal Palace and that little run when they had Crystal Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. That could have sealed their fate. And even that Newcastle game, they could have won it there, but they gave it to Spurs.
yeah, and I
Now
think since Spurs' DNA.
Spurs team is just it's just when you look at it, it's not great.
Yeah,
It isn't great. The
thought that
defense,
they had the best transfer market, isn't it? But I
they
don't think
never had the best transfer market. You told me where they had the best transfer market.
I know, but that
Everyone
was
just put them on a pedestal, and everyone was calling them this and that because of Conte. But now Conte's revealing himself and saying, like this is what I do, man. I'm a defensive coach. Like you didn't already know that. You saw it with the Chelsea team. Everyone said no, because Chelsea had Hazard. Hazard carries the
players
ball.
that can do the difference.
Yeah, they don't have that player which can carry the ball all the way up to Kane and Son and Richarlison or Kulusevski, whoever you want. Maybe Kulusevski, when he comes back, can be that guy, but without Kulusevski, I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
Spurs
I
are.
don't know. I feel like he's their most important player.
Yeah, definitely. Now I think it's in their DNA, man. I think they're like an Arsenal minus 2.0 in regards to their
Don't
ability
ever
to
put us
fumble.
on a
And I think
percentage
that
with
it's a bit of struggle over there. They seem to do
words
quite
about
well in regards
Arsenal
to prime
2.0.
ministers, but I
Arsenal
think
be out here winning titles.
I think in regards to their squad and moving forward, they're doing really well. We'll try. I'm going to try to put these two into one because I'm going to try to wrap it up because I've got to go play football as well. Brendan Rodgers seemed to bounce back 4-0 against Wolves, and Gerrard sacked at Villa, and Villa going to be 4-0 against Brentford. What's your thoughts?
Let me not even talk about Villa. Villa are disrespectful. I told man about Villa some time ago. They're a very disrespectful team. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
I'll put my quick thoughts on it. I think what's happened in regards to Gerrard and Villa and that result, I think what's happened is he was a player that's in a former era, and I thought that what he learned and what he grows into now as a manager, I think going to a club like Rangers, I think who's maybe some will say championship level, I think them ideas are more accepted more because and you're more respected because of the quality of the league and players that you've got. But I think when you go to a league like the Premier League, I think the Premier League is just like it's always evolving, it's always adapting. There's always people are trying to figure out. And I think when it comes down to players, I think players suss onto that and they catch themselves quite quickly in
Look, I
regards to
can't blame
training and
Gerrard.
all of that. And I just think the
I
players don't feel
cannot
it.
blame Gerrard. I
I don't
can't
think the
blame
players are
Gerrard.
feeling it. I just don't think the players are feeling the way that he manages as a
You know
manager,
why I can't blame Gerrard,
knowing
yeah?
how the modern day football is and how certain players train now compared to maybe
Gerrard
what he
finished,
thinks is
yeah?
successful based on his career.
The reason why I don't blame Gerrard, yeah, because we're praising Frank Lampard, yeah. Before Gerrard got sacked, he was 1 point behind Frank Lampard. But we're praising Frank Lampard. And Gerrard finished way ahead of Frank Lampard last season. But we're praising Frank Lampard. And this is why I don't blame Gerrard again. Them same players put that performance out on the weekend. 4-0. So, number one, you kept a clean sheet, yeah, against Ivan Toney. You kept a clean sheet, Villa. And you scored 4 goals. Everyone's been crying out, oh, Villa can't score, Villa can't score. You scored 4 goals the moment he left the building. I just don't think that they wanted to play for him. I feel like he gave too much credit to John McGinn. Yeah. Surprisingly, when John McGinn doesn't play and he's not the captain of the team, they win 4-0. And I feel like that whole Mings situation, he didn't deal with it properly, and I think he rubbed people up the wrong way. And Mings is very respected in the club. They like him, England international. So
he's good off the pitch as well. He does a lot of work. He speaks quite articulately. I'm sure he does some work in regards to FA, in regards to diversity.
And Mings is in the Birmingham community.
Yeah, does a lot of work. There's a lot of work.
Whereas Gerrard, you're a Scouser, which is coming in from a Scottish team. Like it's not these the people of Birmingham are gonna just support you straight away. They're gonna support.
So it's got a lot for you to do that. What's your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers bouncing what?
In
the road now. Do you think he's calm? Do you think he'll be the next England manager?
He's okay. He's okay. I'm happy for Leicester. I feel like right now Leicester's just trying to get to January, and they're just gonna give him some money to spend because they know that, you know what, we messed up this season. However, they still need to tie down contracts because Tielemans, his contract's ending in the summer. What are you gonna do? You need to get a new man in if he's gone, because you can't wait until the summer to get a new man in. And they definitely need another finisher. Dakar, he's okay, but you can't be relying on Vardy, not in this time of his career.
Yeah, no, Vardy's done, man. But boy, that's a wrap, guys. Thanks, I got to shoot off the football. Thanks again, Supreme, for jumping on the show. It's always a pleasure. I'll hit you up in the group chat.
You did forget one match, though. I
know, the Leeds versus Fulham match. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. If you want to chat about it quickly, I think good result for Fulham. They're starting to bounce back quickly. Some
Leeds
talk
are
about
in trouble.
Leeds are in trouble. Mersh, but I think just got to give him time. I think that maybe that USA thing is kind of dragged on him.
If they do not sack John Marsh, Jesse Marsh, but if they don't sack him, they're going down. Book it.
Yeah, sorry, Leeds fans, don't get on to me. I was literally just I got football. I didn't want to run late because if you're late, the space is gone.
Leeds fans, you're going down.
Leeds fans, you're all right. Don't listen to Ram. You'll be good. Supreme, sorry. You'll be all right. You'll be good. And thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we'll see you guys real soon. In a bit, Supreme, bro.
In a bit.
Love.